Welcome back, Dan.
Hey.
We're in season 2.
I know, right? That's crazy.
This is craziness that we've got enough episodes that we were able to end season 1 with Melissa and how amazing she was. And now we're starting season 2 with Craven and how amazing he is.
Did you hear that cool music intro?
That was cool.
Yeah.
That music just made it more like boom, 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 pop.
Yeah, true.
Here we are.
And if you wait to the end of the podcast, you can hear the full thing.
That'll be cool.
I think this is the only episode where I'll play the full thing. So if you want to hear it, there you go.
Okay. It says we're cool.
That's right. All right. Couple things, couple of house cleaning items just for season 2, just to let everybody know. And Becky, you can weigh in on this, but I've heard a lot of feedback from the season 1 episodes where sometimes some of the sessions or some of the sections of the podcast are either too short or too long. And my answer is going to be, it's going to be as long as it's going to be.
It is what it is.
Because I'm not going to, we're doing this podcast for a myriad of reasons, but I don't want to have to be constantly worried about what people think about some stuff. So, sometimes the interview will be short. Sometimes our intro will be short. Sometimes the exit will be long. We're going to try different things, but keep giving us feedback and we'll make some adjustments. But
the main thing is we're doing this together. This is our togetherness. When you have a spouse that you don't see very much and you get to sit down for an hour or 2 hours on a day and spend time, this is our togetherness. Like, this is our time that we have together.
Yeah, and I think we actually found a subject that we are both interested in from different angles.
Yeah.
You're interested in how businesses get started, but I'm also interested from the MBA side of the house.
Yeah.
So we're both kind of learning.
And it kind of goes back to, it is what it is. You either listen and enjoy, or you complain about it and still listen.
That's true.
It's kind of the things that I've taken.
When we eventually get to the point where we're making merch, we'll make a shirt that says, I listen to a podcast that sometimes has really long sections on it, and it makes me slightly grumpy.
Do it.
And then people can wear that, and they can walk around and say it, and it will say it for you, and you won't have to say it to people. Anyway, so let's get into the interview. This interview is a different kind of art. We talked to a gentleman named Craven and his wife.
I think it's his girlfriend, Evie.
Mm-hmm. About their art and how they kind of express themselves into the world. Craven and Evie own a drag entertainment company that does drag entertainment in the Colorado area, on the west side. Yeah, on the west side of Colorado.
So. Yeah.
And so
he talks about like how far they expand and what they did.
Yeah. So here comes the interview. And after the interview, we're going to be doing a couple things. I'm going to be talking about my NBA lessons that I got from the interview. And we've added a new kind of section where I'm going to be asking Becky some questions about what we learned. And it kind of opened up some conversations that way. So anything before we start?
Well, this one's a little bit different because I'm in the interview with you. It's not just you.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We're interviewing Craven together.
And we had one mic we had to pass back and forth.
Yeah, that was
fun. And
we
were in a coffee house, so that was kind of loud. But
yeah, but it worked.
It was fine. It should be okay.
Here comes the interview. Let's go.
All right, today we're speaking to Craven and Evie from the House of Romanova.
Yep.
So it's exciting to talk to you guys. I know my mom kind of got me introduced to you.
Yeah.
And as soon as she kind of let me know what you guys are doing, I was super excited to talk to you guys.
and I'm sure my listeners are going to be excited about this too, because this is going to be our first like different kind of art. We've interviewed a couple different people in the arts, but we haven't done something like this before, and so this is going to be really exciting for us anyway.
No, it was a cool opportunity for sure.
So thank you again for being here. Yeah. And surprise to us, we have Becky with us this time.
Woo woo! I'm here.
So there she is for proof. Her and her craziness. So just to kind of like start off, like could you like restate your company? Give us a little like elevator pitch of what you guys do, what kind of services you guys provide.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So we are the House of Romanova. We started a drag house / performer house about a year ago. We were actually just trying to figure that out, exactly how long it's been before we got here. But it was April of last year, or 2024. Yeah, that was last year. And so we are kind of known as the new house of the Western Slope, basically. And we do anything from drag performances to special events, to concerts, to anything that has to do with performing. We're not strictly just drag, and drag also has a very like open-ended kind of variety to it. But yeah, we're just a performing-based house. We like to create space for any new performers, seasoned performers, people who miss the stage or just want to get back into it again, or have never done it and they're 8 years old or they're 80 years old. So I am a musician, and so I have a lot of love for the performance side of things. And so that's kind of where I kind of got the idea, basically, is like, let's combine our music with Evie's art and kind of create more of a safe space, because we were missing that safe space. So we kind of combined all that and created that baby. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing the House of Romanova?
So over a year now. But drag I've been doing for about 4 years, and then she's been an artist as long as I can remember. So yeah.
And you said that you were a musician.
Yeah.
What's your like go-to instrument that you got?
Guitar. Yeah, I taught myself guitar in 7th grade, and my adoptive parents raised me on piano, and so it wasn't a very hard transition to do that, and then just different things following that, and then building the confidence, and then going out on stage, and so it was transferring that stage to a different stage. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I'm also a guitarist, so that's cool. So getting into it, what was the first thing that kind of drove you as a performance artist, inspired you to create the quote-unquote house?
Honestly, back when I was starting drag, I got my start actually at a local bar here in Grand Junction called Charlie Dwellington's, and Liz created a drag scene there with a lot of great performers, and I was like, there's no way in heck I could ever do that. And then just meeting a few people, meeting different drag houses that were there at the time, and them being like, hey, you look good enough, you could do that. And I was like, oh, so it's a looks thing. Oh, very fulfilling, but okay. So, I just was like, what the heck, why not do it? And they kind of pushed me in an avenue that I wasn't comfortable in. And so that safe space and that place of pride for me kind of went away. And so when I met Evie, I was like, you know what, I want to do something very different. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want anybody telling us what we should do, how the drag house should be run, who we should be as performers, because I want my character and my integrity to also show into my performances. I want them to be vulnerable. I want them to be fun. I want them to be whatever they need to be, whatever I want them to be. And so we decided to create the drag house so that we didn't have rules other than our own, or opinions other than our own. And like we kind of could learn how to stand on our own 2 feet as people and as like performers. And so when we created that, we both were like, well, we could make this like a job, because I always wanted to do something I loved. And I've had tons of jobs that I love, but now I'm my own boss. I get to do it with somebody that I love. And then, there's no rules because I make them. So, and it's very rewarding, the embrace and being able to embrace so many people. Money aside, I know you need money to run things and live everyday life and everything like that. But the people we get to embrace tops that tenfold. So, yeah.
Well, that's inspiring.
Well, that's why we wanted to do it. So, yeah.
So when you were deciding to go forward on this, right? I'm sure you did a little bit of kind of double checking of the market,
Yep.
making sure that there was actual TAM here, make sure there's enough people that would be excited for this. How did you go about making sure that this is a viable business before getting started?
Yeah, so we we sat back actually for quite a long time before deciding to let's go for it. Because this has been actually her idea back from when I met her, and that was about 2-ish years ago now. And so she was like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And I'm like, absolutely not. No way can I run a drag house. I don't know what to do. I don't know that side of things. And so we went out into the community. We went out to different venues, got to talking with a lot of people, performers included, people that had their houses for 10, 15 years, talk to people on the front range, everything like that. And we were just like sponges. We're like, let's absorb everything, business side to performance side. What works for them, what hasn't worked for them, what would they tell us to do that they could change or something like that. And then aside from that, sat back and let's also look at the financial side of things. Can we take time away from what people would think is real job status to go and do the entrepreneurship of it all? And so we kind of crunch numbers and we're like, well, we also have an 8-year-old, so that weighs in, And, but no, we did spend a lot of time looking around and saying, how do we get this started in kind of a realistic, kind of viable way to where it's not just going to be something we're throwing in people's faces and then dies off really quickly. And so, we met the right people and created those relationships and got that support, and we had people rally behind us, and the space that was created for that didn't come out of anything dying off. It was just a community that's hungry for that embrace and hungry for love and support, and we kind of just jumped right on that same ship and, tried to not necessarily do anything better than anyone else. We just wanted to be a part of it and do it differently, and it sparked from there. So
awesome. So when you started getting traction, right? You have it at this point. You have the idea. You know that there's a market out there for it. What was your first kind of campaign? How did you market it to get started?
Honestly, based off of what we didn't have, what was lacking that we were noticing. Community and unity is used a lot as a kind of thing for the LGBTQ area, community, and everything like that. So we wanted to actually bring those words to life instead of just speak them. And there were people in the community that weren't acting on that compassion, on that love, and on that safety and security. And we were like, if we're so desperate and so thirsty for that, why don't we just give that to everybody else? Instead of being backed into a corner all the time or involved in the drama or whatever. Let's create safe, let's create community, let's bring that unity, and let's do that. And so our motto is choose your art. I'm not going to tell you guys who to be. I'm not going to tell you how to be on stage. I'm not going to tell you if you're good enough, pretty enough, handsome enough. I don't care about that. You have something in your heart that you want to show. I'm going to put a spotlight on it. And that's exactly what we did. And that's I think where the people rallied around, they were like, oh my gosh, they don't turn their backs. That's cool. I want to be part of that. And drag family is family, not if you're good enough one day and then if we don't like something you're doing the next day, you're out, which is exactly what I went through. And I don't want to do that. I don't want anybody to feel the way that I've felt. Nobody should be rejected when they have something to show in their hearts. And so that's what we did.
So when you were speaking out, marketing this, right? Yeah. What kind of tools were you using to speak to this audience? What's your biggest, do you use Instagram? What's your biggest go-to?
Honestly, because of who we were trying to target and where we thought we should just dump it first. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I just got on TikTok after a year of doing this because this one was like, what are you doing? You're missing a whole crowd. So true, and more. But, Instagram and Facebook were our go-tos to do the professional side of things and the personal side of things. It gave us a great platform to reach everybody we needed to, along with going out in the community still.
And that's something that I don't think, somebody introduced us to the world of TikTok. They're like our biggest thing. We go on TikTok and we get a whole bunch of people coming into our establishment. Yep. And I was like, hey, Becky, we should try TikTok. And we did it, and we got a whole bunch of people. So I don't know, man. I think it might be. But Instagram, we haven't really dipped our toes a little bit into it. But maybe that's our next thing that we go into.
It's cool how Instagram's kind of evolved recently, especially with having the kind of TikTok flair to it, and also having the kind of like Facebook where you can type all the things you want to type, plus the picture sides of things. So you can have your cool promos, you can have your face shots, you can have your logos, whatever you want, on top of making like really cool videography and whatever else that you see on TikTok. And so with TikTok, I have such a love-hate relationship, because then you have, of course, like the people that, I'm going to say that you have to deal with, and the people that you want to talk to and get through, and then you get to do all the cool videography stuff, which I found fun, because I was like, I don't like watching videos of myself performing or anything like that, but it's really cool how it gives that platform for outreach. And because they get to see and not just hear about it.
Yeah. Another one that we learned about was Linktree, where you can connect everything together. There's so many different softwares that we've learned that kind of like connect everything to your audience. But like you were talking about a location. You have a location, right?
Yep.
So set me through that, like on a business sense. How did you pick the location, and how did you get that kind of started for like new people that are wanting to get into something?
Yeah, honestly, I grew up in Ridgeway, moved here to Grand Junction for college, and just didn't leave. And it's kind of like the perfect place to do something odd or abnormal, as people in society would say. And so because of the platform that Liz had with Charlie Dwellingtons and other like LGBTQ friendly places, I was kind of like, okay, let's sit back, let's watch. And then I was like, I'm not gonna leave, because this valley and the Western Slope doesn't have a lot of drag or performance or LGBTQ. The Front Range is crawling with it. They're doing great. But what I want to do is bring that over here, and especially put it in my hometown for kids that were like me, who can't come out, have no idea what it is, haven't been educated on it, or are just too scared to do it. And so anywhere, and I mean, even Durango is a small town, and Aria is doing such cool things up there with her drag crew. And so in between Durango to Denver, I want to claim that and just run that love up. That's all I want to do. Yeah. And so we were like, we're not leaving, because Evie's from Montrose. And so we're like, that's why we're like, we're going to use Durango to Denver, those bookends, and just swamp them with that, the creativity, and see what happens. So yeah, we didn't want to leave.
And that is a classic way to do this, right? Like you can either try to beat out the ones that are near you, or you find a place that doesn't have it. Like for instance, if you wanted to start I don't want to mention any corporate names, but like a coffee house, right? Yeah. You don't want to put it right next to another coffee house. You want to like spread this out, so that way people can get to you and have more love. Now, I haven't had Becky ever ask questions before, so let's try this out, okay? Maybe we have to redo this entire section. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. But let me just tiptoe into the next thing. So, what's your guys' mission statement?
Mission statement, honestly, I have typed up so many of those. I was literally trying to revise that before we came here. And we keep landing back on just a simple motto, just because of how open-ended. And I want it to be open-ended because I want it open to interpretation. Choose your art, have it be whatever you want it to be, but also nobody should be able to take anybody's identity or creativity or love or anything away from them. And so I like to leave it broad. I like to leave it open. I don't want to type up a whole paragraph of, we represent this, because we represent so many things. But when you come to us, we want you to represent yourself, whatever that may be that day, right? So yeah, we leave it at choose your art.
So open-minded love, right? Something like that, right? Yep. Because we talked to Kenzie. She was the other artist, and she was talking about environmentalists. What was it? The environment health starts with us, or something like that, which is really cool. Because she was super into wildlife preserves and things like that. So
very cool.
But I really like the artsy. Yeah. Sometimes it's really nice to get out of the business world for a second, talk to people that are.
Tell me about
it. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Becky, and we'll see how this goes.
We can do this. What challenges come with staging drag performances from like costume design, makeup, music? Like,
Yeah.
what challenges do you face?
So many, honestly. When it comes to the costumes and makeup, I can speak for like myself. I don't know necessarily about the other performers because everybody has a different way of doing their things. Luckily, I have Evie, who's fantastic with makeup and loves doing it, and so she's helped me to create my look and then taught me also what the heck she's doing to my face. And then costumes, like, honestly, you can go and see all the glitter and the glam and do all of that. You can have all the suits and ties and all of that stuff too. But I mean, I've performed in something so stripped down as ripped jeans and a flannel cutoff t-shirt. I like to base my makeup and my kind of look and design based off of whatever song and whatever message I'm trying to portray at the time. So if it's Pride, doing the bright colors, doing the vulnerability songs, doing the rise up songs, that kind of thing. Or if it's more of the Magic Mikey thing where you're in sweatpants and knee pads and, got the glitter beard going. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, you've got, anything from the upbeat, uplifting, I want to, wear the suit and tie and be all glam and in your face kind of thing. So honestly, it's really cool personally to find that style because I was pushed into one thing, right? And then now I get to be creative with her and kind of see different eyes too of like, oh, you should do this. I'm like, yeah, I'll try that out. Or, oh, what about that? And I'll try that out. And then seeing all the different performers that have performed with us too. Because I mean, we have alternative goth performers. I could never do anything that they do, and it's really cool. And then you've got the big wig, the eyelashes, the nails, the queens that are just exuberant, and then you've got the younger performers that are doing cartwheels across the stage and wearing whatever the heck they want to wear. We've got our 8-year-old that's wearing a light up tutu. I mean, it's cool. So yeah, it's very open-ended. So
nice. Yeah, I don't know if that's something I could do. Stage shy. Stage.
Hey, I said that once too.
That's why I forced you to do this kind of stuff.
Okay. How doing your performances, like, how do you engage and connect with your audience? Like, how do you reach out and keep the audience engaged? Do you know what I mean?
That is, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That is something I've actually struggled with because partially stage fright and partially not knowing who your audience is. And so I used to do the very upbeat or the lover boy kind of songs, right? And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to somebody who's wiser than I am, Evie, and I'm gonna show my heart, And so I started playing into kind of that more vulnerability side of taking trans pride for what it is and really standing up for the community and being outspoken, which I never was. I wanted to fly under the radar and still live the life I wanted to live, and that didn't do anything and it wasn't fulfilling. So I got to do that in my drag as well. And so, yeah, I mean, it was hard to do the vulnerability side of things, but the reflection on it feels really good, but also the embrace and having that eye contact, seeing, oh, this person's crying, they must relate, or having people, hey, can I private message you? I want to talk to you about something that was in your song, or hey, can I get together with you and talk, or something like that. It gave me another way to embrace more people and kind of get that embrace back. So yeah, it's been really cool to see the change, but yeah, eye contact's a huge thing. At drag shows, everybody knows you tip the queens, you tip the kings, blah, blah, blah. That's not why we do it. We do it for that eye contact, for the hand grab when you go for the dollar, for that moment spent with somebody, or to really watch, or the hoot and hollers. That's fun. The energy is what we feed off of. I want you guys to get up and dance with us. I want you to wave your flags with us. Whatever you want to stand on a table with me because I'm being crazy and standing on a table, let's stand on a picnic table. I don't care. But yeah, it's really important, that connection. So I'm glad that you asked that, because that's really hard to do, especially when people are there that are unsure or maybe not supportive or weren't expecting you to be there. That's a whole different thing to deal with than all your community friends that are like, whoop, we've seen you, we love you, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, really connecting with that person at a person to person, human to human level, instead of that judgment, it kind of level. So yeah.
Cool. So do you have a go-to, what's your favorite story about a customer or something like that? Yeah. What's the go-to one that you like to tell people?
Oh, that's hard. That's really hard because there's always the political side of things. There's always the drama side of things. Yeah. Somebody that doesn't like what you're doing. But I'm proud of what we're doing. And so the example that I can think of is just the transition from being able to perform at a certain venue and then or with a drag house and then being completely booted out, square one, you're absolutely nothing, good luck, I'm going to destroy you type vibe. And so basically climbing from ashes. That's exactly what I'm going to call it. Somebody who wants to, said that we're going to pray for you and we're going to love you and blah, blah, blah. And then basically praying for your downfall. Your house is going to be nothing and you will be nothing. And then trying to find that validation on your own 2 feet. So yeah, going from somewhere you thought you were loved and welcomed to being completely outcasted and heartbroken and having to build from that. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's different than being a plumber.
Yes.
Just kidding.
That I couldn't do either. So.
Right? I'm glad plumbers are out there because I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So in the early days, what was the biggest challenge you had in translating your artistic vision into a business?
Yeah, this is honestly, you should take the mic.
You can if you want. I mean, we're all friends here.
She gonna stay
I believe. Hey, just everybody trusts us that Evie is a person and she is in the room.
Say hello.
I promise.
There you go.
There she is. Evie Essence, everybody. But no, like the biggest challenge I think for me was trying to shut off the artistic brain and realizing not everything artsy is going to work business-wise. Not every vision is going to be a fantastic vision. And so when we started it, I think I didn't know necessarily who I was yet as a performer or how much I actually loved what I was doing because I had fallen out of love with it based off of everything that I had gone through. And Easy.
Whoa.
Sorry.
That's her nickname.
It was easy to listen to Evie when she was like, you need to strip back and get down to the foundation of why you loved it and then turn that into something more. And so I never thought of starting a drag house until she was like, you can do just what anybody else can do, whether that's a drag house or perform, whatever. And so she kind of switched that mindset into business of like, we could grow something out of what you want to do. And so that's exactly what we did. That's when we started looking, well, where would accept us because of all this stuff that has happened, or we're nobodies now because of what everybody else is saying and doing. How do we kind of repair people putting words in people's ears and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, none of that matters. Your integrity matters. Your compassion matters. That's going to shine through. Did it take an entire year or longer for that to finally happen? Absolutely. But has it been rewarding? Yes, because now we both have a job that we adore, that we can live off of, and we get to do every day, so.
Yeah, imposter syndrome is really hard to get over, right?
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I mean, for managers, it's hard to delegate, but for business owners, it's that feeling of like, oh man, any second they're going to find out I can't be doing this. I shouldn't be here. Is really hard to get over. So it's good that you have this support structure that's like the angel on your shoulder that's like, ignore it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
That's the hardest thing to do because, I was a general manager for a year at a shoe store literally here in town, one of the only shoe stores on the Western Slope until you get to basically Denver area or Utah, Journeys. And I was running a store after 2 months of working there. I had no idea what I was doing, but somebody believed in me, right? And sometimes that's all it takes is somebody to be like, hey, you've got potential. Let's see what happens. Either you're going to crash and burn, you're going to learn the lessons, or you're going to come out above all of it, right? Or you're going to do all the above. And so having the kind of business sense of the background of what works, what people kind of expect from you in a business aspect on top of a personal aspect, I was able to bring all of that experience when it comes to crunching numbers, what makes sense money-wise, what makes sense of like people-wise and all of that, and being able to throw that kind of on top of all the drag performance creativity aspect. And so it was kind of cool to mesh the two halves of the brain, if you want to say it that way. So yeah.
It's kind of entertaining and kind of educational that a lot of people don't practice what they preach. Like you're all about love and like be whoever you want to be. We will love you however you come in. And then you're the hardest critic on yourself, right?
100%.
You're just like, so it's just kind of, it's funny because it's not just in your guys' industry, but I've heard this so many times. I was talking to the florist a couple weeks ago. I shouldn't call him the florist. I mean, Ben from Ben and Any Florals. Sorry. And he was the same thing. He was just like, I don't, like this is, if you're going to start a business, believe in yourself. You
Yeah.
can do this. And I was like, how much of your own medicine do you take? And he's like,
Yeah.
0 of it. I was like, perfect.
Yep, that's me. Yep.
This is one of my favorite things about this podcast is I get to speak to people in all kinds of different industries.
Yeah. I think it's
And
so cool.
It's very similar. Like, it's really interesting how similar these things are. And
Yeah.
this is why I like to like spread out the industries as much as possible,
Yeah.
because I don't know who's listening.
Yeah.
And any of them can be like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And all of this kind of help.
Yeah.
And it kind of like boosts the love factor too. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We were talking to King Kebab. They're a restaurant inside of a mall.
Huh.
And she was like, the thing that keeps her going every day, that's the question we're going to be asking you
Yeah.
pretty soon, was just that every once in a while somebody would come up and be like, hey, I hope you're having a good morning. And I feel loved and I keep going.
100%.
Right? It's just the people that keep me going.
Yeah.
People were her downfall too. She
Yeah.
hated people as much as she loved them. But, you know.
So what's one business lesson you have learned from building the House of Romanova that you can share with like creative entrepreneurs?
Okay. Ooh, that's actually a good one. Advice giving. Oh, great. I'm not
Maybe
the one
we
that
should
gives
pass the
advice. Yeah. Evie, you want the mic? Okay. Oh gosh. One thing that I could tell creative entrepreneurs. is
So, like, if you go back in time, right?
Yeah.
What do you wish you could have told yourself?
To not doubt your ability, and not doubt dreams are there for a reason. And I know everyone's like, oh, vision boards, dreams, blah, blah, blah. No, like if you have something that you want to chase that, because in reality, you can grab onto it. Like it's not really that far ahead of you, no matter what timing you think it's going to come to fruition or what idea you have right off the bat, because I guarantee you it's going to change. But the beautiful thing of it is you can still grab it, right?
It's beautiful.
So, yeah.
That's really hard to believe. We even have that problem. We're like, oh, we'll do it next week when we get better.
Yeah.
When we get better, but it's just like, what's her name on the Chinese teacher? She was telling us that fake it till you make it. Either today is just a day or it's day one.
Absolutely.
Like get it started. So I'm learning so much from these.
Yeah, because it's
from
never
everybody,
going to
right?
be sunshine and rainbows. Not everything is going to go perfectly. Not every idea you have is going to take off, or it's not always going to be fun. Right?
Right.
But that is reality, okay? Life is not easy. Relationships, friendships, none of that's easy. Businesses are not easy. Working a job is not easy. Paying for gas isn't always easy. But the thing is that's reality. And if you can do all of those little things during your day, you can do all of the other things too.
It's true.
So that's what we kind of remind ourselves of, like, yeah, fake it till you make it, like you said. I say that at some shows. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. My headspace is not here today. I'm worried about this, and this, or I'm sad about this, or I'm angry at so-and-so, whatever. And I still have to go on stage and smile.
Right.
But at the same time, we love it at the end of the day. When we lay down and we wake up, we still love it. So that's why, that's why we do what we do.
So going off of what you just said, how do you turn it off? How do you turn off like the hate on this side and turn it on to the love on this side? Like how do you turn that off and then turn it on?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Honestly, you think about, one, why you did it in the first place, and you also think about who you have in your corner and how much those people mean to you. Evie's huge, obviously. I love her, and my daughter is another huge reason. Setting that example of whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. And I just gave her a bracelet that says you fall down 7 times, you get back up 8. And I got that literally a few weeks ago back at a Pride, and that hit me in a whole different way too. And then when I saw when she lit up reading that and asking what that meant and being able to explain that, so like at the end of the day, it's just finding where your support and your love comes from and having that little flicker that's enough. And whether that's something so little or something so huge, that's enough, needs to be enough, to keep going.
Yeah, like Edison said, right?
Yeah.
He didn't fail at making a light bulb 400 times.
Right.
He found 400 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it's just keep going.
Yeah,
Right? That's
absolutely.
the key, right?
Yeah. Don't listen to what people, you can choose to listen to what you want to listen to, right? You can choose to let things affect you. You can choose to hold on to things like a grudge or, comments on social media or, somebody booing you or thinking what you're doing is not good enough. But what is enough? And then just hold on to that for dear life and just one foot in front of the other.
It's good. Did you learn anything? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, I did learn. That's why I asked, because I want to know. I mean, how do you, turning it off?
Yeah.
It's like everyday life.
Yeah.
How do you turn off what's happening at home and go to work?
That's hard.
You have to turn it off and become a different person. And it's super hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I do it every day. And but we all do it from different aspects of life.
I think the message that was said, though, right, is that when you get behind, your brain kind of clicks over, right? Like when I go to the office and I start thinking about finances for the end of the month, I can forget about a couple of things. I'm in the zone, right? And so I just get better and better at just clicking over to being in the zone sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really hard, but.
Yeah, sometimes it becomes routine. And that's one thing that I try to really notice too is where's my humanity at in some of those moments too of how much did I turn it off? Or sometimes it's okay to let you affect, because sometimes in my performances you can see real life come through, and I think that's also a beautiful thing. And I also sometimes think it can definitely hinder the business side of things, because if I have an entire cast that's looking up to me and I'm working a venue and all these other things, and it's a first time type deal for that venue, obviously you want it to go well. You want their ideas to kind of be the center. You want your cast to feel confident and, that you're paying attention to them and that this show is for them. And you have to put that kind of selfishness side. And also you have to put aside your personal life, because you're not there to worry about that at that time. You have so many other things, and whether you're delegating or not, you have so many other things to worry about. And sometimes it becomes routine, and sometimes I have to go outside with Evie and breathe and drink some cold water, put a piece of gum in my mouth and go right back in. So
there's a tip. You could try that, I'm not you. I'm speaking to the listeners specifically, right? When because I don't want to mention any names or anybody, but there's a couple people that we've interviewed where their biggest problem is is this how the first year supposed to look, right? I'm constantly nervous. I'm constantly looking at the checkbook going, are we going to make it this month? And then we make it, right?
Yeah.
Is this normal? And I'm yeah, it's normal. And there's different ways that people cope with it. And maybe going outside, taking a breath, put some gum in your mouth and just go back in with a smile.
We've gotten through everything so far.
Right?
So.
Right? You haven't failed yet.
No. Yep, exactly.
Well, speaking of that, not failure, but speaking of of keeping going, what's something bold that's on your mind that you want to do in the next 5 years? Where is the House of Romanova, right? Yeah. Where's the House of Romanova going? What's your kind of vision here?
Yeah, so we want to outstretch. We don't want to just be known as a drag house, we have great examples. Like I mentioned, Aria Petty one out in Durango, and we've got people from the Colorado Springs area and Denver people that are, doing so much more, whether that's karaoke or bingo nights and different pride events, or even we just did a singles mixer at a restaurant. We want to do whatever avenue, whatever door is open for us. We want to jump on those. We don't want to just do drag casts and performances. I've never done a podcast. I've done interviews for newspapers and stuff like that, but even up until this year, nobody cared what my name was. Nobody cared what we were doing, how the business was going, if they could join the house, that kind of thing. And so it's really cool to find those different outlets. I just did a Q&A during a drag show for people to have more of a platform to understand trans people. I stood up there as a trans man, ask me all the things. I am not shy. I was asked about my adoptive parents who are unaccepting and stuff like that. We want to find all those little nooks and crannies and just shove our way in there. So 5 years, we want to do all the things, that we can, not just drag.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Are you thinking about maybe opening, maybe franchising, maybe opening satellite locations or stuff like that?
Honestly,
I know with entrepreneurs, you always have this big vision.
Right.
We're going to be here. We're going to be DC. We're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those kind of big picture ideas?
Honestly, not yet. We don't. Just because we think what we're doing in this valley is where it needs to be right now, just because of like trying to reach the different locations throughout the valley, not just Grand Junction. Because like we started focusing just Grand Junction, and then we're like, well, what does Montrose have to offer? What does Ridgeway have to offer? You know, can we get in these smaller towns? Like, how is this going to be? So I mean, I guess in a smaller aspect, yes. But not for the time being, just because we feel the need for it here and we want to focus here and then go elsewhere.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your your line in the sand is like, once I feel like I've done enough here,
Yeah. Yep.
then I can start, once this is stable,
Right.
then I can start branching out.
Once I
really
feel
that.
like younger performers or people that feel forgotten about or like they don't have a platform, once they are like, I feel loved and I feel happy, that's where I'm going to get my validation from, is giving people what they don't have. And once I feel like I've done that, we can turn the page and go and do that for more people.
That's interesting. Craven.
Yes.
For our listeners who are captivated by artistry and the business of drag,
Yeah.
where can they experience the House of Romanova and connect with you online?
Yeah, so we have Instagram, Facebook, like I said, TikTok. I also have my email, which is romanovahouse@gmail.com, all lowercase. I check that regularly, so if you have any questions or comments or supportive notes or, hey, we don't think you're doing it right, send it. Like, go ahead and hit send, forward it on to me. I love replying, whether it's hate comments or supportive comments, whatever. Like, if you want to discuss something, let's discuss. A conversation is a conversation. It's two-sided. I will not shy away from a challenge or from a joyful conversation. So yeah, email is always open. You can PM the business page, all of it. You can search House of Romanova or Craven Romanova. Evie is also great at sharing those things on her Evie Essence Romanova page as well, which is Facebook and Instagram, I believe. And so, yeah, we plaster our events on there. We plaster our performers on there. We make sure everything's up to date. So if there's any questions, all of our other socials, if you find one, they're all on that other one. So it's a web. You can find us, and you will be communicated with in one way or another for sure. So.
Awesome. And as always, we're going to have all your information in the description. So if you ever want to get in contact with them, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us.
No, thank you for having us.
I
It's
love
cool.
this, and I like having you here, Becky.
Thanks for having me. Because now I don't.
Come on,
no.
just say something. Come on. All right.
Okay, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that was Craven and somewhat of Evie. I swear she was there.
She was there. She was she was just a little shy.
Yeah, from the House of Romanova. That interview was done in a coffee house in Colorado. And so let's talk. So let's talk on the layman side. So Becky, so you're a layman. What did you
Call
think?
me a layman.
How dare you? How dare you? You're not too far away. What did you think of the interview? What are some things that you took away? First of all, how was it being there?
A little nerve-wracking. A little bit nervous, nerve-wracking. Not sure, when to pass the mic, when it was getting into the questions.
Yeah, it's easy doing this part of the podcast, but being out there doing the
face
actual
to face
questions.
was like, oh my God, what do they think? Is she dumb? Is she asking dumb questions? Is she not paying attention? Is she blah?
They pulled me aside after the interview and told me
Lies.
all of those things.
Lies.
They were like, her questions were the worst questions.
Lies. I know
You should
that
have done
Craven
this
and
by
Evie
yourself.
did not do that because I talked to them and they were freaking amazing.
Oh, okay.
So nice try though.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't let me lie on this podcast, then what's the point of me being here?
So here's a few things that I learned. I learned their why. What really hit me was when Craven talked about wanting to create a safe place. How many people can be like, I have this safe place that I can go to and I feel safe and I can be myself there. So one of the things that they talked about was they don't want anyone to feel rejected, because he felt like rejected in places. And it was so powerful that they can make their business more than just a show. They've made their, like, the House of Romanova, it is a safe place for people that don't feel safe in other places.
Yeah, Craven wasn't just hurt like in places. Like he kind of had he grew up with, a family that didn't support him and things and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it was just kind of a track record of that. And so, yeah, building a place where people can feel safe is good. I think we're pro for that.
Oh yeah, our door's always open. Like, I feel like our house is a safe place. Another thing that stuck out to me is it made me think about how important it is for people to feel accepted, especially in a community. And it's not just about the drag community, it's about building a family. Like, they've built this whole family and how everyone is accepted. It's not just one person. It's like everybody feels loved and accepted.
Everybody but you. They pulled me aside after the interview and they were like,
you have to cut that out. Stop doing that. You're ruining the interview. Another thing that hit me is how he said they had to overcome hard times and how he talked about climbing from ashes. I was surprised and impressed by how tough they are. Like, I feel like you have to be a tough person to be able to take criticism and the hate that they get sometimes and be able to overcome that, and being booted from a place and having to start brand new. That's where he talked about climbing from ashes. But they didn't just give up. They kept going. They believed that what they were doing was important. It shows that even when things get hard, you have to do something about it. And if it's something that you truly believe in, you put like your heart and soul in it. Like Craven and Evie have put their heart and soul into this, and they've taken hard times and made it into something. The other one was connecting with people. I loved hearing how Craven said that you interact with the audience. Like, you talk about eye contact while you're up like dancing and like doing things. You have to keep the eye contact of the audience.
Yeah, I think in that part you were asking about the how do you keep your audience engaged? And so that's when Craven was saying that one of the things he does is eye contact, make sure that people are still listening and paying attention.
And the other one is so part of their business is, they rely on tips, and that is something. And he made the comment about not just like taking money, but holding their hand, like grabbing their hand as they're taking the tip, because then you're feeling that more of a connection with them. Your energy also reflects how the audience will feed off of you. So if you have the audience involved and you're keeping them like going. Another thing is don't give up. Just keep going even when.
Yeah, it seems to be a common denominator from a lot of people we talk to is the ability to just see it through seems to be something that's missing from the normal, people that fail anyway.
Yeah. Another thing is when they're performing, it kind of goes back to the eye contact, but while Craven and like the House of Romanova is performing all of the different people, they want the audience to get engaged, like come up and dance with them, come up and be part of the show. And it's a true connection when you can get people to do that. Like, that's more feeling more connected, like waving their flags, dancing. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's and I think that engages both sides, right? It engages the audience, but it also engages the entertainer, because the entertainer's seeing people so excited by what they're hearing that they're as Craven was saying, sometimes jumping on tables and waving flags and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I just have a couple more things, and then we'll go into more of the MBA side. One of the things that they had was choose your art. It's a simple but cool thing. Craven said he doesn't care how pretty you are, how handsome you are. He doesn't care about that. It's just that you have something in your heart that you want to show. So one of the things that like struck out to me where it's like is how their 8-year-old daughter gets up and she can be whoever she wants to be. If she wants to dress like a princess one day and she wants to dress in different stylish clothes the next day, she can be whatever she wants to be. And there's just pure like love and no judgment there. It's made their business really open and welcoming in letting people be themselves. And you have to celebrate that. I mean, how many places do you go and you can't feel like you can be yourself? I have that. Kind of depending on who we hang out with and where we are, is can I be myself? Or do I have to pull my introvert side in and just kind of sit back and not be myself? I mean, you just kind of have to be open.
True.
The last little part that I have is balancing creativity and business. It was really interesting when Craven said, shut off the artistic brain to think about the business side. And I can totally see it. They have to think about their business, but they also, you have to shut off things at times.
That was your question. You said, how do you turn it off? How do you turn off the...
Yeah.
Yeah, and Craven gave a pretty good example, but I'm glad you took something away from that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to it because my question is how do you turn off the hate and you feel the love? Like, how do you turn that off? And it's like turning off your, you have to turn it off and think, we're here for this and we're not here for that. And that's something that stuck out because you have to be able to turn off the hate in your life. Even in everyday life, you have to turn it off. I mean, you get it even not being a part of like certain communities. You get the hate.
That's true. And sometimes you have to hate, as you say normally. Is sometimes you have to hate everybody.
No.
So how do you turn it on? How do you turn on the hate sometimes? I'm just kidding. How do you turn off the hate is the question.
Yeah, I mean, you turn it off. I mean, it's easy. Anybody can put on a brave face. I mean, there's people in our lives that we both have this, that we're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be with this or this person, but you have to turn it off and be like, this is somebody that Dan likes, or this is somebody that Becky likes. But because we're a team and we go and do things together, you have to embrace the ugh in life or the I don't want to in life.
Oh, who are we talking about?
It doesn't matter who we're talking about or what we're talking about. It just comes down to, I mean, and there's no pinpoint person that I'm pinpointing, but there's things that like I drag you to and you have a miserable time, but because we're a team, lies. But because we're a team, we're able to get through it together. And there's times that I go places with you that I'm like, I would rather be home sitting in my pajamas, but because I'm a team with you, I come out and I do things outside of the house. And I feel like sometimes that's turning off the hate of the world.
Okay, well, I do appreciate that. You do that often, so there's all kinds of crap I want to do, and you just come along. So, including going all the way to Colorado to do interviews.
But there's also when I want to go do things that you're like, I don't want to. Do I have to? Can't you take so-and-so? And I'm like, no, I want you to come and I want you to be part of this.
For the record, I don't sound like that. I sound more powerful and strong.
Not the, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
No.
It's more like, I need to save the world, so I can't do that right now.
Yeah. But going back to being a creative business, it's sometimes hard to be creative. I feel like sometimes I don't have a very creative side.
Oh, I think you're more creative than I am.
It kind of depends.
Yeah. Without your creativity, this would be a boring podcast. So,
but like in Craven's like situation, Evie and Craven's, I feel like sometimes Evie might be the behind the scenes, doing the makeup and getting the costumes together. And how hard is it to put, I'm going to wear this costume this day, but what song is going to go with that costume? And then you have to think about like the money part of it and the planning part. I think that's where Evie and Craven are a team. And I talked to Evie after because we couldn't get her on the podcast. I mean, she was super shy.
Yeah, she wasn't shy afterwards. Super nice.
Her and I talked, and it made you really think about how open you have to be to different people's lifestyles. I think this was a fun topic, and learning about other people and how they are, and not to talk bad about, living in Utah, but we live in Utah County, where it is very closed off against anything with the opposites of what you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it takes all kinds to make a world. I don't want to like put anybody in some kind of, bucket and generalize. But everybody, there's some people out there that don't understand other people, and they get upset about things and whatever.
But I don't think it just happens where we are, because Craven mentioned that even his adoptive parents don't believe in what he's doing. So he doesn't have that relationship.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's not, yeah. And that happens a lot of the times, but it could happen for any reason. And I'm not a psychologist, so I'm just sticking to the business part.
But that's where it goes back to, we said that our house is an open door. Yeah. We accept everyone.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter who you are. We don't really care about that part. As long as you're not harming people or murdering people, I guess you're good.
Not hiding out at my house.
Yeah, exactly. Or eating our food.
But yeah. But those are all my thoughts. I
they
really
were very
enjoyed.
Good thoughts.
I enjoyed. Now I don't get to say, hey, I have to go meet Craven and Evie, because I got to, and what an amazing experience that was.
We can go visit them again, and we can go watch a show or something.
Because now they've adopted your mom as part of their family, and I think that made her feel good.
Yeah.
But let's talk business.
Hey, that's my favorite.
I know. Let's talk it. Let's talk about business.
Okay. I got nothing. Just kidding.
Nothing?
So,
wow. That's unusual for you.
Hey. I've already warned you. I can only dish it. I can't take it. If you make fun of me, I will cry, I promise. Just kidding. All right. So on the MBA side of the house, there's a few things. I think they kind of overlap with what you were saying. My biggest note here was all about building a brand on purpose and positioning. We've talked about brand a bunch in season 1. I'm bringing it back a little bit here because I think brands are major when it comes to a small business. Even with a large business, I think brands are super important.
They are.
If you had shoes that were brand named and you have shoes that aren't brand named, that brand name is going to elicit some feelings that will cause you to want to purchase those, as opposed to the ones that don't have a brand associated with, that you know about or that you're familiar with. Talking about basically like what you were saying when it came to their resilience, their go get them, never fail kind of attitude. That can hit so many NBA points that I just kind of want to go back to the whole brand and talk about that a little bit. And one of those things that really kind of came home with me after that conversation was their purpose-driven entrepreneurship and their strategic market positioning. And let me go into that.
Please tell me more.
For a little bit. So the major concept that I'm talking about when it comes to what they do is authentic differentiation. Now, differentiation is a word that I hate because I hate saying it. It doesn't come out of my mouth very easy. But differentiation means that it's basically how you stand out from your competition, right? Okay, so like I'll give you an example. There's a bunch of apple farmers. You're also an apple farmer. You decide that you're going to put gold tinfoil around your apples. You're selling the same thing, but yours is different. Yours just stands out, right?
Because it has a shiny coating.
It has a shiny coating, yeah. So there you go. Well, on their side of the house, what they're doing is, when we were talking to Craven, Craven mentioned how there are drag houses around, like especially over in the Denver area. But Craven and Evie didn't. They might have taken inspiration from it, but they didn't copy anybody's idea. They're doing a drag entertainment company, but they're doing it with their flair
And their style.
Their style. And their style, and the thing that they're really like focusing on is safe spaces and unconditional acceptances. That's what you were talking about when you said like everyone's welcome, everybody's loved, et cetera, et cetera. But they started with that. A lot of companies, what they do is they say, well, how do we sell this doodad, or how do we get money, or how do we compete in the market that is very much like ours? But they are starting in a different way. They're starting in this is our core belief, and we're going to build a company around the core belief. They gave it a name. They said it's Drag Entertainment, but it's more than that. They're pushing the envelope of what they believe. And when you do something like that, you're going to get core followers. So if you're going to start a business and you have a core belief and you find people that have the same core belief, they tend to be more loyal and they'll stick around longer and they'll be there for the life of the company.
Because it comes down to loyalty. There's probably the people that are performing with them, but they also have the people that follow them around from show to show to support them.
Let me back up a little bit. When they had a core belief, they said, we're going to build a company based off of acceptance, love, making sure everybody's heard. We're going to be an entertainment company, but we want everybody to come up on stage and be whoever they want to be. And they started their company with that core belief. They had to make sure that there's a market for it. I mean, if you're selling golden apples and nobody wants them, then you don't really have a business there. But they went out and they figured out if they had an audience for what they were selling. And in the podcast, he was talking about how before they started the company, they did a lot of due diligence. They went and they talked to a whole bunch of people and they really made sure that there was a needed market for this, which they found, and they started it and they were successful.
He also talked about how they built off of another place in town. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was like another like bar kind of place.
Okay.
They kind of built off of, because he had said something about how he performed there, but taking that experience that he had and making it his own.
Right. But my point being is that it wasn't like the normal, like Craven didn't go out there and find somebody and say, hey, I'm going to do a company like that. Craven started with making music, and Evie started making music, had music as well. Mm-hmm. And then they found each other and they were like, man, I wish we could promote love and acceptance and things like that. And they built a company around that core aspect and not, hey, let's be a drag entertainment company and work inward. How can we make money here? They did the opposite. They came in with, here's our core belief. Let's start a company with this core belief, which is great because all employees, all staff, all customers, all suppliers who believe in that belief will be core people that'll come back, right? Let me throw another big idea at you. There's this thing called blue ocean, red ocean. Have you heard that? It's an MBA term.
No. Tell me about it.
So I'll go real quick, real high level, okay? A red ocean is like, think of it like it's filled with blood. It's because there's a lot of companies in that market that are fighting for the same customers. And so it turns into a giant bloodbath where they're just trying to undercut each other. They're trying to kill each other. They're trying to downplay each other. They're trying to defeat each other offensively. There's all kinds of ways you can say it. But a red ocean means that there's just a lot of companies in that world fighting. Like, for instance, in Utah, we have a whole bunch of soda companies, right? I'm not going to mention any names, but you have a whole bunch, and they'll just undercut each other. Like, one will be across the street from another one, and they'll lower their prices so low that the other one can't compete, and they'll have to either close or move or lower the prices even more to kill that other. So it's just fighting for those same customers. But a blue ocean is like an open ocean. It's a whole new area with all new customers, and it's just clean sailing. So that kind of like picture in your head, right? You have a bunch of different like drag entertainments that are doing the same kind of thing. They're kind of spread out, but they're doing the same thing. There's a huge market, and there's a lot of people kind of competing for that market. What Craven and Evie have done is they've found this blue ocean. They started with a new reason. It's a reason of like their motto was, what was the motto? It was
choose your art.
Yeah, it was choose your art. And diving down a little bit into what that means, it's like choose your art is they don't really care what kind of art you're going to perform as long as you're doing that art in your way.
And makes you feel good. Like you feel good about it.
And it makes it so that way you can give your message to the world, your own unique message to the world. Another thing that I noticed in that conversation was that they understood their territory, and Craven noticed that there's a part of Colorado that needed this. It was lacking this type of entertainment. An example that I gave in the interview was, if there's a lot of coffee houses in town, why make another one? You need to find a place that doesn't have a coffee house. We know that coffee sells, but we need to find a place that doesn't have a coffee house and build one there, right? Yeah. And so Craven did the same kind of thing, or is doing the same kind of thing, which is building this entertainment company in an area that doesn't have it, that needs it. And they're starting to think about the territories around, but they want to make sure that this territory is like stable and moving and stuff like that before they move out of that area. Those are my big rocks. Any thoughts or questions on my NBA stuff?
I do like how you compared like the businesses and how they have a blue business. Like they're doing it and they're building it up from not off of something else, like not off of something else, but off of
a new idea.
Yeah. Like they have this idea where they're moving forward, but they're not like in this group over here where there's a ton of it.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying differentiation a lot to you, because that's what it is. It's like, if there's a market out there, you could go out there and compete against that market and try to beat the guys out there, or you could take the idea and make it a new idea. It's pretty similar, but different.
Yeah.
Right?
It is different.
So I have a little segment I want to try with you. Let's see how it works.
Here we go.
You love these new things, don't you?
I love new things.
I wrote down 5 questions.
I will do my best to answer your questions.
And I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on these things.
Okay. Before we jump into these questions, I'm just going to reiterate what I've said. After we got done with the podcast, I really felt that connection with Evie about how open she was with me and how she talked about things with me. I think that you can't judge a book by its cover. You have to get to know someone. You could feel her support while she was there. Like you felt how supportive she was. And then in the end, how I was able to take her aside at the end. And then I felt that connection with her. And I'm like, this is somebody that like has a true passion for life and something that they believe in.
Yeah, they're cool people.
They were.
I was listening to the interview before this just to like refresh my brain. And I've noticed how like a lot of podcasts, when we start the questioning, everybody feels like tense and closed up. But by the end, everybody's open and talking and having a fun time. I don't know how to solve for that. So I don't think there is a solution. I think we're just going to have to keep doing that. We go in with those first questions, and then they just start to warm up to us.
Yeah.
But Evie was very shy and refused to be on the podcast at all. But right afterwards, she was talking a ton. So I see what you're saying.
Because I think we made her feel comfortable. She didn't feel comfortable speaking on the podcast.
But that same goes for you too. Like you talk a ton, but then as soon as we go meet people, you just go hide in the corner. So, I mean,
it is what it is. That's where my introvert comes in, and I'm like, I can be this little shy, like stand back and hold your hand and be the support there with you.
Yeah. Okay. Note, point taken. I don't know.
Got it.
All
Now,
right, so let's play
please,
a game.
Intrigue me.
Intrigue you? No, not right now. All right. Number 1. So this is about the authentic differentiation. Good luck saying that word. Just kidding.
I will never say that word.
So Craven said that they didn't want to follow the old rules, but they wanted to make their own rules. And it's kind of like how our Saturday mornings get wild because we have kind of structure, but then it just kind of explodes into all kinds of different weird crap that we do all of Saturday. So how do you think their choice to be themselves and offer a truly welcoming space actually helped them build a strong business?
If Craven was dressed in full head to toe glam like you see at other places, he would be able to do the moves that he does and the walking through the crowd that he does. They have their own style, and that's how they're that's how they're drawing people in, because people are getting to see them.
I agree. I think that the difference that they're doing, there's glam entertainment. No, there's drag entertainment. That's the word I was looking for. There's drag entertainment, and then there's what they do. It's a cousin to it. It's different. And so now you can enjoy both. You can go see something that's super high glam, or you can go to this one as well. And so it gives them that little niche where it's different, where it's not like once you saw it, you've seen it all kind of a thing, right? Because a lot of those, like drag entertainment, once you've seen one, like you had a picture in your head of one.
I did have a picture in my head.
And that's because you've seen a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty much similar, but Craven and Evie have found something that's different, but same, but different, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's how they're growing that business, is that people now have this option, or maybe they're intimidated by that whole glam thing. Maybe they're intimidated by going into something like that. Yeah. And this is a little bit different, that they might be a little bit more comfortable.
I think that if they went full, just speculating, not saying, but if like they went full glam, like head to toe, and, I don't feel that Craven would be comfortable in his skin that way.
Right. I agree.
He's comfortable the way he is with just a little bit of makeup or the little bit of glitter and like the little bit that he shows. And I feel like that's how he feels comfortable. And that's what it is the more comfortable you feel, the more comfortable people will feel around you.
So next question. This is about checking the market. You know how sometimes we just hope people will like our new podcast ideas?
Yeah.
Well, Craven and Evie didn't just hope. They went out and they talked to everyone. Even if you wanted to start a podcast about, let's say, I don't know, taking naps, I don't know. Who would you talk to first? So let's pick that one. Let's say we're going to make a podcast about taking naps. Who would you talk to make sure people even wanted that podcast? And how would you make sure like there was a market?
I would probably first start by talking to probably one young mothers, because naps are important in everyday life for a young mother with little kids. Or I would talk to older people about how they get up and they're busy, busy, busy. And then by the time between 12 and 1, typically people start shutting down a little bit there. And importance of, is it important to take a nap in everyday life? Because, or does it hinder with you going to bed at night? Like there has to be a balance.
So how would you find those people? So you talked about mothers, you talked about old people, you talked about all kinds of different people. How would you find those people to make sure we had enough people to start our podcast?
I think first I would put it out on Facebook and Instagram, or seeing a young mother out in public and asking them, hey, what's the importance of your toddler taking a nap? What's the importance of that?
And how many mothers would you have to hear them say yes before you're like, all right, it's worth my time to start this podcast?
Probably 25 plus. I think it would have to come down to the importance of it or the non-importance.
I agree. And the point of this entire question is that, right? A lot of these businesses we talk to, you just don't start. You don't just go to the side of the road and start selling pickles.
No.
Like you got to make sure there's a market of people that want to buy pickles, right? Yeah. You can't just go out there. And Craven has done that. Like through the interviewer, he was talking about how they talk to everybody, financial, non-financial. They're talking to everybody to see if there was a viable market for this, and then they found it. All right, next thing. Question 3. It's called picking your spot. So remember how Craven talked about wanting to claim the area between, I think it was Durango and Denver?
Yeah.
But they were looking at areas that were outside the busy spaces of Denver. So let's say we're going to open a coffee shop. Would we want to put the coffee shop in like Provo next to the Starbucks? Would we want to put it over, how would you go about trying to figure out we had a good location?
I think it comes down to placement. Like I've always said, and I'll keep asking every time we talk about business, I want a coffee shop by my house because where we are, we're 3 miles from everything. And people don't understand 3 miles is close. No, 3 miles is a 15-minute drive.
Yeah, especially with the highway we have to drive.
With not just, if you don't take the highway, you have to take like the side roads. You have to take the side roads or the back roads or, and a lot of times my biggest thing is when we're looking for something, I like to play the DoorDash game, being like, I'm lazy. I want to see how much it would cost for me to DoorDash something versus my time to go get it. And 90% of the time it's, I need to go do it. But I always think we live in a place where a coffee shop would be a good spot, but would it be ideal?
Right. So the point there being is like location, yeah. Right?
Because we do have within a 3 mile radius of us. So 3 miles north of us, we have 6 or 7 coffee places. But how convenient would it be to drive a mile down the road versus 3 miles down the road?
And that's the thing, especially with coffee houses, let's say. I don't know why I'm picking on them, but let's say there's like 100 people that live in that neighborhood and you have 10 coffee houses. Like you're fighting for that 100 people. The more that's there, the less, there's less customers there are that you can attract. But if you're the only coffee house in town, you get all 100, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple caveats to this, like gas stations. Statistically, like if you have 2 gas stations on a corner of a intersection, both gas stations will make more money than if only 1 gas station is there. And if you have 3 gas stations, all 3 of them will make even more money than if it was just 2. And the reason the statistics work out that way is because if you have 1 gas station, and we have this, right? Look at the one over there by the park, the one that's next to the baseball diamond park.
Yeah.
There's a gas station right there, right?
Yeah, but it's the only gas station right now.
And there's one over there, right? All by itself. And then you come over here by Highway 6 and there's 2 on this corner. Yeah. And then there's over by the freeway, there's 3 on a corner. How often do you go to that one over by the Diamond?
Never, because it's out of my way.
It's way out of the way.
Yeah.
And that's where the statistics runs when it comes to these gas stations, is that if you have 3 on a corner, that becomes like the street you go to that has the gas stations.
It comes down to, I think, the one I go to, because it comes down to loyalty, because it's a family owned.
Eventually, but I'm just talking about the statistics of,
yes.
Of gas stations in one location. It won't work with coffee houses and stuff like that, but it will work. So like if Craven and Evie decided to do an drag entertainment in a place that's already heavy with entertainment, people only have so much money to go to entertainment stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to fight all of these people to get a fraction of the pie. But if you're doing it all by yourself in an area where there is none,
then it's easier.
The full pie.
Yeah. Like they get the fullness of it because they're not competing with someone in town.
Right. All right, number 4. This one's called Your Big Why. Don't do that. Don't eat the microphone. Don't do that. Okay. So their main idea was choose your art. So if our podcast, From Ideas to Income, had a motto that was as big as and as important as our idea for this podcast, what do you think it should be?
Come learn something. Come through an adventure with us, because every adventure is different. We don't talk about the same thing every time. We talk about something different.
So how do you put that into a motto? Like they have choose your art. What would we say?
Choose your adventure.
Choose your adventure sounds like one of those books. I would say something like Adventures in Small Business or
Adventures
Education.
of Income. How to make income. Adventures of how to make your income more.
You're almost getting to the name of our podcast. I'd say something like the education on how to be a small business. I think that would be strong enough, right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what we're interested in, is how these small businesses work.
Yeah, it is.
All right, last question. And this is a bonus one, even though I said there's number 5. But I wrote bonus on here for some reason. So I guess it's number 5, the bonus.
Woo!
So Craven talked about having to turn off your artistic brain so that way he could make smart business choices. As someone who lives with an NBA person, that's me.
Ooh la la.
When do you think it's hardest for creative people, such as myself, to stop being a creative genius as I am and start thinking about money and finances? Do you like this question?
I see your head getting bigger across the room.
No, it's a legitimate question. I mean, it's words and it's on a page, so it's legitimate. And I wrote them, so it has to be true.
Of course.
So Craven talked about having to turn off an artistic brain to make smart business choices.
Yes.
As someone who lives with someone that's a genius like me and creative and awesome.
Keep going.
When do you think it's hard for a creative person to stop being creative and start thinking about the numbers and finance?
When I tell you to shut up, enough is enough.
All right.
No, just kidding.
All right. Let's start this question over because you're starting to hurt my feelings. No.
I think it comes down to you have to turn off what you're learning and think of everyday life. Like, I understand this is what you've learned, but everyone is learning the same thing when you go to class. But when you come home, you have to shut that part off sometimes and think about, how can I make an income out of what I've learned? So you have to be like...
So what's the secret to that? How do you do it? How do you, because you're creative, How do you turn it off and start thinking about other things?
I just have to shut it down and think about it.
But how do you do that?
Like my mind sometimes runs 100 miles an hour and I have to think, stop thinking about this and think about this. Like stop thinking about the things that I can't control and think about the things that I have in my control.
So you have to actually like physically tell yourself to stop thinking about something?
Oh yeah, sometimes I do.
And it's not all that alcohol you drink?
I don't drink alcohol. Thank you. You bum. But I mean, it comes down to like yesterday, for an example, I had a mindset of these are the things I want to get done before a certain time of the day. And my biggest thing I wanted to get done was cleaning the pantry and cleaning the laundry room. But I got doing something else. And then my mind went back to stop and get done what your mind is set on doing. And that's kind of how it has to be. Like you can come home from class and have all of this energy of like, I have to do this, and this, but there's also this, and this I have to get done. So you have to be able to shut that off to think about the MBA. Yes, this is what they've taught me. And how am I going to shut that off and use that in my everyday life?
Okay.
So that's something you have to think about.
Yeah. I have to use a calendar to do it. When the calendar says stop, do the other thing, I stop and do the other thing. So,
and that works.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for some people.
Yeah. You have ADHD, I think, and I think I have OCD. So we have different mechanisms that gets us through the day.
But we work. And it comes down to teamwork and how we get things done and how we do things.
I agree. We're a good team, or so they say.
There's a lot of people that do say, how do I become part of Team Briscoe? And I'm like,
it's
there's
expensive.
a neck. It's
really
expensive.
Yeah.
You want to be Team Briscoe? There's a fee.
There's a fee. There's a fee. All right, so that's it. Those are my 5 questions. I think this podcast, season 2, is starting out pretty okay. I'm not going to give any hints on the next one, even though the next one is pretty cool. We have a couple, actually, and I'm not too sure which to pick one for the next one, but we'll discuss. And that's our show.
Go find the House of Romanova, Instagram.
Yep. And
Facebook.
It's going to be in our description. We always put an ad down there with all the information on how to get a hold of them. And if you're interested in going to see a show or whatever, it should be in there as well.
I do know he mentioned it in the podcast. They are booked out for like the whole month of July and August.
Yeah, but whenever you listen to this podcast, it could be way past that and there could be openings. So always check, go back, reach out. Say hi to them.
If you get on and talk to Craven, he will answer you.
Yeah, say you heard about them from us and
from the cool kids from Utah. Because we're the cool kids.
And that's it. And so I'm going to go ahead and play the whole
music
theme song and see what you guys think. I think it's pretty nifty.
I think it's cool.
All right. See you next week, Becky.
Bye.
Welcome to the show where dreams take flight. From spark to hustle to late work nights. Dan and Becky here with stories to share. Small biz journeys, the how, the where. From ideas to income, that's the vibe. Turning passion to paychecks, watch it thrive. Grab a coffee, lean in, let's go. This is your business starter show. Big wins, tough days, lessons we learn. From lemonade stands to empires earned. Every story's a map, a spark, a guide. Jump on in, take the business ride. From ideas to income, it's all right here. With Dan and Becky, the path is clear. So tune in, dream big, start your plan. Success begins with the courage to stand. Big wins, tough days, lessons we learn. From lemonade stands to empires earned. Every story is a map, a spark, a guide. Jump on in, take the business ride. From ideas to income, that's the vibe. Turning passion to paychecks, watch it thrive. Grab a coffee, lean in, let's go. This is your business starter show. Big wins, tough days, lessons we learn. From lemonade stands to empires earn. Every story's a map, a spark, a guide. Jump on in, take the business ride. Jump on in, take the business ride. From ideas to income, it's all right here. With Dan and Becky, the path is clear. So tune in, dream big, start your plan. Success begins with the courage to stand.